is. Extra, good morning to you. 7 o'clock on the dot on this finally Friday morning. A full week of Wake Up West Texas Extra.
That's right.
Almost in the books. Glad to have you with us, meteorologist Ethan Yost.
Happy to be here. Good morning, everybody.
Filling in for meteorologist Troy McRae this morning. What a great start to the day starting off. We had a great show this morning on Wake Up West Texas. We said goodbye to our friend, our colleague, Jacob Brandenburg, from the morning show, not from the station. He's going to be our assistant news director working on our First Alert 7 News at noon newscast.
Very happy for him.
That. Yeah, and our 4 o'clock. So you'll see him quite often.
Yes, I will, because I am on the 4 Wednesday through Friday, so I'll be doing plenty of casts with him.
So good, so glad, and of course I'm going to miss him very much. I won't get
of course.
For myself, of course, it's kind of
it's
tough.
been what, like 2 years now?
2 years,
said?
almost to the day that he's been on the morning show, and so it's been a wonderful time. But these things have to happen. Great people go to great positions, and that's what this is all about. So, nonetheless, we're here streaming on Facebook right now. We want you to take us with you wherever you go, the grocery store, at work, wherever it is. Download our streaming app on your connected TV, your phone, your tablet, wherever it may be. Start your mornings with us on television from 5 to 7 a.m. on Wake Up West Texas with Sawyer, Jacob, myself, and Ethan from time to time. And then Wake Up West Texas Extra from 7 to 9, streaming live every weekday morning. You can watch us live on the First Alert 7 Facebook page, like I mentioned, where we are watching the comment section, and YouTube channel as well. It's going to be a lot of fun. We continue to have a lot of fun here, making different segments up. We're still kind of finding our footing to figure out what we want to implement and what we want to add. And one of those things that we love doing is, of course, polls.
Yes, definitely.
We had a good time yesterday with that, different kind of polls that our producer had set up. Let's see what today's one is. Would you take a trip to Mars if you were offered?
I love this question, actually.
It's a loaded question for sure, because...
Well, for me, obviously, you all probably know I'm a weather nerd, but I'm just like a science nerd in general. And honestly, before I was into weather, I was more of a space,
astronomy.
Nerd.
Okay.
So I love the idea of going to Mars. I would definitely take a trip.
I would. I guess the idea of dying is a very big possibility.
Yes, of course.
Early on, like you most likely.
I guess I'm just a risk taker.
Okay, that's interesting. Okay,
not necessarily risk taker, but like I trust the science enough to take the risk. If that
makes sense.
Because
yes, I mean I was thinking about it. So I've been watching a lot of YouTube. My algorithm is following me, of course. I go down different paths with my algorithm, and I've been watching the video of STS-1, the first space shuttle launch back in 1981.
Okay.
That shuttle was not sent off to an unmanned space flight ever. It was not unmanned when it launched. It was had done test flights. Terrestrial test flights, meaning they had taken it up on a 747, a specially modified hauler, essentially tanker, let the space shuttle glide back to Earth. It had not been taken up out into space. Well, obviously, there's different tests to make sure, but full version of the space shuttle did not go up until it was with human beings on STS-1.
That's pretty wild.
Bleeding edge. Really,
that's a risk I probably wouldn't take, at least.
I mean, even with them, like you were mentioning, they trusted in the science, they trusted in the technology. They had done, space launches with humans before, obviously by 1981. Of course. So that kind of takes me back to that, because I know Elon Musk is the pioneer of getting us to Mars. The moon is definitely, I think, more feasible within our lifetimes.
Yeah, that's more on the horizon, actually, as well, with the new Artemis mission with NASA and all that. So it's a big step in the right direction as well, because that's what's going to eventually lead to us going to Mars. Yeah,
definitely so. That's the foothold. There we go. It's the stepping stone to Mars.
Exactly.
That's where the lunar missions are going to be looked at. They're starting off, of course, Artemis 1 was held in 2022, I believe. That was the launch unmanned of the rocket ship itself, carrying the Orion space capsule. The Artemis 2 is going to be coming up in just days with a crewed mission. Having some trouble right now because of the weather. They're trying to work that out right now.
They originally had it wasn't scheduled for this month, and now it's next
pushed.
Month.
Yes, they pushed it out a little bit further. So the timeline is being delayed a little bit. The crew is ready to go. They're wanting to go up to space, and they're going the farthest humans have ever gone, even past the Apollo missions.
Yeah, because they'll be actually orbiting the actual moon instead of landings.
Seeing the dark side of the moon with human eyes has never happened in the history of space travel, which is still young in the grand scheme of things. And so this will be an incredible mission nonetheless, even though they aren't touching down on the lunar surface. Technically, they're going past that because we have done that several times.
And I mean, like, people ask the question, it's been a long time, but like now we have a reason to go. We have the resources to actually go to the moon and make it an economic, viability. So
you're right about that.
That's why we're going back now.
Finally. The privatization of the space industry has been a huge push to this. I know Blue Moon is Blue Origin's lunar lander that they're working on right now at Cape Canaveral, which is, of course, they're testing out here in West Texas in Van Horn. But SpaceX also in the running to have their own lunar mission. So it's whoever gets the contract when it comes time for that, it's going to make a big deal. But of course, that saves money on the taxpayers' dollar because all they have to do is get the lander there.
Exactly.
And that's the taxpayers' part of that. So privatization is going to be huge moving forward for sure.
Definitely.
But interesting topic nonetheless. You can tell we have a lot of takes on that. I'm sure you do too. So go to firstalert7.com/vote to weigh in on some of this. But now it's time for our ICAM tour of the morning. Look at that. Where's this at?
This is in Midland. This is looking off of I-20 into I-20 here. Beautiful sunrise in the background there. Clear skies and temperatures in the upper 30s to low 40s this morning. We'll continue to move through the ICAMs here. Now in no, this is not Fort Stockton. I don't know what this one is. Hold on. Where are we at here?
Fort Stockton. Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, it's hard
That's
to
what I
tell
thought.
because of the lighting.
Yes.
Isn't that beautiful?
That is a beautiful sunrise. Very, very nice picture. Seeing that much of the same across the board here. We'll continue to roll through. This is Big Spring.
Looking good there.
Also looking good. Temperatures in the 40s this morning. And then last stop, Presidio.
Wow, that's quite the overcast sky there.
Yes.
It's kind of just getting a glimpse of the sunrise there as it starts to come through, twilight, if you will, before it gets a little bit higher in the sky.
Yeah, beautiful morning. Chilly, so make sure you grab a jacket on the way out. But it's
Definitely.
going to be a warm afternoon ahead.
Absolutely, and I love looking at the iCams, getting us a view from across our entire viewing area, our community. So really cool to see it. But like you mentioned, the forecast not looking too bad at all, even though it's starting off a little chilly outside.
Yeah, I mean, if you're a fan of warm weather, this forecast is for you because we are going to be seeing 70s through basically the next 7 days. Temperatures this morning, though, as Matthew said, are on the chilly side. Most areas into the upper 30s and low 40s, so not terrible because we're actually well above freezing for most locations. As we do have high pressure in control, so a dry air mass is in place, and that means clear skies and abundant sunshine is going to continue all afternoon. Here's the next 12 hours, and again, you can see all those golden rays all afternoon. Temperatures will be near 70 at lunchtime, on our way up to the mid-70s by mid-afternoon. Wind flow out of the west-northwest direction at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here are those forecast highs across the board. Again, mid to upper 70s across many locations. 73 for Odessa, 74 for Midland, 76 for Sanderson. Fort Stockton, you'll be at 75. Low 70s there across Marfa and Alpine. And then overnight tonight, quite mild actually, well above freezing too. Generally low to mid 40s across the Permian Basin. 30s across the Marfa Plateau in towards Van Horn. Now we are looking at some rain chances. A mostly dry and warm forecast is on the way. That is what's certain. But we have introduced some slight rain chances, a 20 to 30% chance of rain showers Monday and Tuesday. Mainly expecting to see that south of I-20, and generally it'll be light showers. But we'll talk more about that in-depth rain chances coming up in just a couple minutes.
All right. Ethan, thank you very much. Now for a look at your morning extra headlines you need to know to start your day on this Friday. We'll begin tracking crime where a woman was arrested and charged for murder in Odessa after a man died of a fentanyl overdose. Back on January 9th around 7 p.m., Odessa police were called to Kingston Avenue near East 52nd Street. When they got there, they found a 22-year-old man dead at the scene. After searching his phone, they learned he actually bought fentanyl off 40-year-old Nicole Marie Jones, seen here. Jones had previously been arrested for the same thing, selling fentanyl, and was out on bond. Officials say the cause of death was, like I mentioned, a fentanyl overdose. So now Jones, as per state law, has been charged with his murder. In Midland, the sheriff's office is looking for this man who went on quite the beer run. He stole 90 beers from a gas station. He went in, got 3 big old 30 packs of Michelob Ultra from a Kinquick off I-20 in Midland. This happened back on January 20th. Now, police say that he sold those big old packs and drove off in this white Ford pickup truck that is pictured there on your screen. If you recognize him, maybe his truck, call 694-8477. Or if you're a neighbor or someone has an odd amount of beer for their Super Bowl party. Odessa police have arrested this man for burglary of a habitation and engaging in organized criminal activity. He's a teenager. 18-year-old Jarvis Darnell Preston Jr. was involved in a home break-in last month. OPD thanks the public for their assistance with this investigation. In education, Midland ISD said they are aware of a concerning social media post that we got light of earlier this morning. Legacy High School is related to this post and it has raised their concerns. The district, though, did not clarify exactly what the post said or what it was related to. Midland ISD police continuing to look into this, and out of caution, they will have more officers on campus this morning to support student staff and safety. If you have any information about this, though, reach out to them at 240-1050. No word on if this is connected to possible protests happening later on this morning. Now to a milestone moment in West Odessa as Ector County ISD put the final beam in place of Vasquez Middle School in West Odessa. School board members, family members, and much of the community all gathered there to the site to put some finishing touches on that final beam, even leaving their signatures. The signing not only marked a significant step towards the school's opening, but also the moment was deeply personal for Odessa City Councilman Gilbert Vasquez, who is actually one of the namesakes of this school, as he honored him, his family, and his late wife.
The first thing I wrote on there was in loving memory of Adela Laria Vasquez. She couldn't be here to sign off, so I signed off for her. That was the first thing I did. And then, knowing that names were being asked for, so I went and made sure that I wrote down every one of my brothers and sisters' name to follow in the order in which our mother and daddy brought us into the world.
Following the ceremony, attendees went inside to see the final beam put in place and locked in. After taking it all in, ECISD Superintendent Dr. Keely Boyer couldn't help but look forward to the day that those doors open to the students.
So we are just truly excited that we are making progress. In 6 months from now, we will have over 1,000 students in West Ector County and West Odessa here walking these halls. And so today we're just celebrating that and celebrating one more step forward to opening this amazing middle school for our kids.
And when Adela and Gilbert Vasquez Middle School opens its doors in fall of this year, the foundation is set to provide a much-needed educational space for the growing West Odessa community, the first secondary campus in West Odessa. It is Black History Month, a time to honor the history, the culture, and contribution of Black Americans, even right here in the Permian Basin throughout history. Across our area, local organizations and community groups are focusing this month on education, reflection, and celebration. The goal is to highlight both historical figures and modern-day leaders making an impact.
Local people can be heroes to our teachers that has taught for 50 years and our engineers in the oil field that worked for 50 years for different oil companies. Those are your heroes, and they're local heroes, and we like people to know that. That's why we run our billboard.
While February is dedicated to recognition, community leaders say conversations should continue all year long. That was your Morning Extra for this Friday. You can find all the latest news, weather, and sports by logging on to firstalert7.com, downloading our mobile news app, and following our Facebook page. 7:12. Let's get a live look outside again this morning over the skies of beautiful Presidio out there as the sun does begin to rise slowly but surely over that part of West Texas. Meteorologist Ethan Yost rejoins us with an in-depth look at your First Alert forecast, all next on Wake Up West Texas Extra, which you can take with you wherever you go by downloading our streaming platform on your TV, phone, or tablet. Stay with us.
Now, from the First Alert 7 Weather Center, here's meteorologist Ethan Yost.
Well, we've been talking about this very warm weather all week, and it's finally going to be here coming up first thing this afternoon. It is a cool start to the morning, generally in the upper 30s to low 40s, but well above freezing, so that's the good news. But look at this beautiful eye cam over Midland. Beautiful sunrise, clear skies this morning. We're going to continue to see abundant sunshine all day today. Here's your first alert. Well above average warmth is going to continue all the way through your Thursday of next week. Highs in the 70s each and every day. That's going to come along with mostly dry conditions. I say mostly because we have introduced slight rain chances on your Monday and Tuesday, but mainly south of I-20, and generally it'll be light showers, so nothing too big in that regard. Weather makers map across the nation. We're seeing this big ridge of high pressure taking control as we speak, pushing through the high plains across the U.S., influencing West Texas. And again, that's going to promote a very warm afternoon, but also a plenty of sunshine, very dry air mass with high pressure and control. So that means plenty of golden rays through the afternoon, also for a good portion of your weekend. But here are the numbers over the next 10 days, all the way through Thursday. Again, low or highs in the low to mid 70s. The only exception, or not exception, but just a slight lull is going to be Monday with some of those showers into the low 70s, but each and every other day in the mid 70s through Thursday, and then more mild Friday into the following weekend. Now on the rain side of things, again, slight rain chances Monday to Tuesday, those chances being about 20 to 30%, but those greater chances are going to be south of I-20 like we talked about. So let's look at some model data here. The European model, a reliable model, but it's not going to be perfect at depicting of what's exactly going to happen. We'll start here on Monday at 10 o'clock in the morning. This is when we'll start to see some showers developing here. But again, you can see it's south of I-20 and it's going to be light, so nothing terribly heavy. And we're not expecting any thunder or lightning with this activity. Here is Tuesday at 12 a.m. and still seeing those showers south of I-20. Can I rule out a passing shower north of I-20? No, but generally most of it will be to the south, and then everything clears out early in the afternoon on Tuesday. So just a quick event, and then we are dry the rest of the week. So for the rest of today, though, dry, sunny, and warm. We'll be in the low to mid 70s, even some upper 70s out there. 73 for Odessa, 74 for Midland. And then overnight tonight, mild, but still cool, but well above freezing. So that's the good news. Low 40s and even some upper 30s out there. 43 for Odessa, 42 for Midland. Looking ahead at your First Alert 7 10-day forecast, again, every single day through Thursday of next week, highs in the 70s. I know we sound like a broken record here, but that's simply what it's going to be. And then dry conditions, for the most part, only exception going to be Monday and Tuesday with those slight rain chances.
All right, it's slight nonetheless, so we'll see what happens with that. But at least Super Bowl Sunday, the big game, going to be really nice for any outdoor plans that people have this weekend. 76 tomorrow. That is going to be something else.
I mean, that's shorts and t-shirt weather if I ever saw
it. For sure.
I mean, did you expect that in the middle of February or beginning of February for that matter?
Not at all. Still in the right towards the middle to end of winter time, and we're still well over a month away from the start of spring, about March 20th.
Yep, that's exactly right, and things are definitely not feeling like it, but I love it.
Yeah,
I'm a warm weather lover, so I'm always rooting for the 70s, and this is like the sweet spot.
Truly, I mean, it truly is a sweet spot.
Not
really glad
too warm,
to see it.
not too cool, you know.
Not too bad whatsoever, for sure. Now, yesterday was National Weather Person's Day.
Yeah, that's right.
So a day to honor meteorologists like you and all of our team here at First Alert 7. And it was very special because during this day, the Medical Center Hospital care team came in and dropped off Dairy Queen blizzards for the First Alert 7 weather team. Look at that. Wasn't all about the sweet treats, though. Hospital officials also told us about their fundraising efforts for Children's Miracle Network, and they partnered with Dairy Queen to do so, providing pediatric health care to our community. CMN says anytime you see the iconic red and yellow miracle balloon and choose to donate, you're supporting a local hospital.
In our area, we serve the Permian Basin. That's over 20,000 pediatric patients that come through Medical Center Hospital, whether that's our pediatric unit or our NICU or even our ER and trauma services. And those resources that we fundraise are to come to support them, whether that's advancing healthcare, equipment, nursing education, or even just giving out donations through books and coloring books and just making their environment more welcoming and very family friendly.
Dairy Queen says it will host a Dip It for Kids event on March 19th. Kids get free cones, and for every dip sold, $1 is donated to local children's hospitals through Children's Miracle Network. One of them, of course, right here in our own community in Medical Center Hospital. They have been a CMN hospital for quite some time. You go to Dairy Queen, you see the balloons there making a small donation. It goes directly and stays here in our community to help kids in need. It's pretty
great
cool.
Cause, great cause.
Do you have a favorite dip at Dairy Queen? I like the cherry. Cherry all the way is fantastic.
You said favorite what again?
Dip for your cone. Chocolate dip, cherry dip, one of the two.
I would have to go with the cherry, yeah.
Cherry. It's fantastic. It's something that doesn't come around all the time. Strawberry is good as well, so that's a good one. Let's check our comment section. Marilyn Smith says, good morning. Good morning to you, Mayor.
Yeah, good morning.
Happy Friday. Meteorologist Sawyer McElroy, who's on a day off, is watching as well. We appreciate that.
Hello, Sawyer.
What's your favorite DQ blizzard? I'm a little boring.
Favorite blizzard?
Yeah, probably just the Oreo. It's my
The
favorite.
Oreo is my favorite too.
Yeah.
I mean, you can't go wrong. And the thing is, for me, is I'm not even like a huge ice cream lover as it is.
Right.
But I mean, I absolutely love the Oreo
So
blizzard.
good.
It's from Dairy Queen.
You don't like chocolate?
No, I do not.
I got the intel from Sawyer.
From Sawyer, yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yep. I mean, I can deal with like small quantities at a time, but like I'm just not an overall sweets person either. That's why I'm not huge.
Well, sure, yeah.
Huge into ice cream either. So I mean, that's the main reason. But yeah,
You don't hate chocolate.
don't despise it. It's not like
Like you,
I
can't eat
immediately
it.
like eject it or anything. But it's not my favorite go-to
Sure.
thing.
Okay, well that's good to know actually, especially if we ever get you a gift or something. No chocolate, good to
Yes.
know. Well, as you know, the big game is this Sunday. We just talked about it. Odessa Lynx is hosting their second annual Tackling Homeless's Big Game Watch Party and Fundraiser. First Alert 7's Rachel Fortunato was there.
Last year we did have great success. When I say success, it was just the response of the community and just people from the community that came alongside of us for the main goal of what this fundraiser is.
This event brings together football fans and community support for a fun night while supporting a great cause. Food, drinks, football squares, and multiple big screen TVs will be available to attendees. Anyone, no matter if you're attending the event, can purchase raffle tickets online. Prizes include Dallas Cowboys season tickets, vacations, and gift cards. All funds raised will go to support Project Hope. Project Hope provides housing and other support services to families experiencing homelessness, with the goal to help them achieve long-term self-sufficiency.
We basically do this to help somebody that had an unforeseen circumstance that caused them to lose their housing. When you're displaced and lose your home, whether it be to a fire or to the loss of a job, a medical issue, or anything like that, then it really distorts or creates a lot of instability, not just for the parent, but for the family as a whole.
Currently, Project Hope supports 58 individuals, with 15 more on the waiting list.
Build up confidence in the family and build up that stability in them.
Fundraisers like this help them increase their capacity. Along with helping to pay for housing, Project Hope also helps provide essential items to these families.
Getting beds for each member of the family, dining table where they can be able to connect and heal and just participate of what growth is.
They say giving these families a home gives them a fresh start and the hope that they can move forward.
Big event there, and I've spoken with Odessa Lynx before about this. It's a great event that they started just doing last year. It was their inaugural event last year. Went really well, so I'm glad to see that they're doing it a second year, gathering people together at a great spot to be able to watch the big game, but also supporting a great cause as well. They go out and they do a pit count where they go out and count the homeless in our community. So they're able to best serve them. They're always looking to serve their community. Andre Quiroz, of course, part of their organization, doing a great job. So they're wonderful, and also it's a need in our community, no less.
Oh, 100%. Great give back to the community. And I was curious, is this something you said that they do annually or something?
Just now it's an annual event. Starting
now it's an
last
annual
year, this
event.
is second annual, so going to continue on, I'm sure, with more
That's
success in the
fantastic.
future. So really
Yeah,
good to see.
Great cause.
Speaking of, we want to take a look at West Texas Weighs In, our poll that we wanted to invite you to. You can vote by going to firstalert7.com/vote, scanning the QR code right there on your screen to be able to get in on this poll. We're asking right now, would you take a trip to Mars if it were offered to you? What a question that is. Do we have any other questions? I'm curious what other poll questions we have as well. Who do you think will win the Super Bowl this year? That's the one everyone's wondering about. So far, the Seattle Seahawks, now day 2, have been really taking the lead here, which makes sense. It's a good team. They have good standings right now. I mean, they did very well through the regular season, through the playoffs, and now they're going to the big game itself. So let's see how that goes. I'm not going to root for any particular team, as you know. I'm not a huge football fan, but vote right now. Go to that QR code. Go to our website. You can click on that link right there, firstalert7.com/vote. We're getting some more results in as well. What is the best breakfast food? Oh, that's a great question for our viewers watching at home. If you're getting ready for the day, eggs and bacon, who would have thought?
I mean, yeah, obviously. I'm picking that as well.
I am a pancakes and waffles guy myself.
I mean, if I had to choose a combination, it'd be bacon and pancakes.
Bacon and pancakes. That's a good plate right there.
That's the
get the
combo.
protein, get the carbs to start the day. It's a good mix right there. It looks like we have more updated results. Oh, we got a tie between eggs and bacon and pancakes and waffles.
Oh,
that's about right.
Yeah,
cereal?
I mean, sounds about right.
I've turned cereal into a dinner item.
Really?
I have. I've turned that into when I don't want to make dinner.
Cereal.
You never eat.
I used to as a kid, but not anymore. No, I never eat cereal.
Especially not the Choco Puffs, whatever they're called. Puffs.
Cocoa Puffs?
Cocoa Puffs, not Choco Puffs. Obviously, I don't eat cereal very much either. But dinner time when I don't feel like cooking, I mean, it's the best thing to do. You just pop the
it's so
cereal.
simple.
So simple. And it's filling. That's the most important part.
It is filling, yeah.
But yeah, I'm pancakes and waffles all the way for breakfast. I also don't get to eat breakfast very often. I feel like this time of day, it's already dinner time for a lot of us.
That's very true because, you're getting up and getting here at 3 in the morning.
Definitely so. Well, look at the time. We're going to take a moment now to give a news and weather update to our viewers on TV on First Alert 7 CBS. So don't go anywhere. Wake Up West Texas Extra continues in just a moment.
From First Alert 7 News, this is a Wake Up West Texas news and weather update.
Morning, everyone. Time now is 7:26 on this finally Friday. I'm Matthew Alvarez here alongside meteorologist Ethan Yost with a check of the forecast. Ethan, good morning. How's it looking outside?
Good morning. It's looking like a cool start, but not as cool as we have been seeing recently. So that's the good news. Well above freezing this morning, starting off in the upper 30s to low 40s. But with plenty of sunshine and high pressure in control, we're going to be seeing temperatures warm up very quickly this afternoon. Here's that hour by hour through the afternoon. Plenty of golden rays and temperatures in the low to mid 70s by 4 o'clock this afternoon. Wind flow out of the west-northwest at about 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here are those forecast highs across the board. Again, 74 for Midland, 73 for Odessa, and then low to mid 70s across the entire viewing area. So everyone getting their fair share of above average warmth and really mild sticking through the overnight, only dropping down into the low to mid 40s across the Permian Basin, so well above freezing. Still recommend a jacket though, first thing Saturday morning. Good news is it warms up quickly into Saturday afternoon. We'll actually be a couple degrees warmer than this afternoon, looking at a high of 76. Adding a couple clouds to the forecast on Sunday, but still mid 70s for the high. We'll stay dry through Sunday, but then slight rain chances do return to the forecast starting Monday and Tuesday. But overall, going to be only some light showers and then drying out the rest of the week and maintaining highs in the 70s. And also check out those lows. They'll be in the 40s and near 50 for most of the 10 days. So quite a mild and dry forecast on the way for the first couple weeks of February.
Ethan, thank you very much. Let's begin tracking crime in Midland, where the sheriff's office is looking for this man here who apparently stole 90 beers from a gas station. Ground troopers say this happened back on January 20th at the Kinquick on I-20 in Midland. They say the suspect stole 30 packs of Michelob Ultra. He then drove off in this white Ford pickup truck that's right there on your screen. If you know who he is or know the vehicle, reach out to Midland Crime Stoppers at 694-8477. In Odessa now, a woman was arrested and charged with the murder of a man who died of an overdose. This happened in Odessa back on January 9th at around 7 p.m. when police were called to Kingston Avenue near East 52nd Street. When they got there, they found a 22-year-old man dead at the scene. After searching the man's phone, investigators found that 40-year-old Nicole Marie Jones here had sold fentanyl to the man prior to his death. Jones had previously been arrested for the same thing, selling fentanyl, and was out on bond. Officials say the cause of death of the man, like I said, was indeed a fentanyl overdose. Jones has now been arrested and faces charges in that man's murder. For the latest news, log on to FirstAlert7.com and don't forget to join us streaming live right now. Wake Up West Texas Extra on Facebook, YouTube, and FirstAlert7.com. We'll see you in half an hour. Keep it here on First Alert 7.
From First Alert 7 News, with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching Wake Up West Texas.
Extra, good morning to you. Half past the hour at 7:31 on this finally Friday morning. Good to have you streaming with us here on Facebook Live, YouTube channel, and on firstalert7.com. So glad to have you with us, along with meteorologist Ethan Yost, filling in for Sawyer McRoy. Ethan, good morning. How's it been going so far for you?
Good morning, and it's been nice. I like this the change of pace going into
nice.
this Wake Up West Texas Extra and being more interactive.
This will be our first full week in the books after this show, so it's been a lot of fun.
Well, how do you feel after your first full week?
It's like a marathon, I will say, because I've just got done doing the whole 2-hour show, and then we have 2 more hours on top of that, so it's quite a lot. But I have this here. I have snacks hidden away behind me. I hope you can't see them very often. But we're keeping it going. It's a lot of fun because we get to take time to go in depth on some stories that normally we wouldn't have time to on a television show, but also we get to interact with our viewers, even with polls. And we've been talking about some of the polls we have here. Some of them are more controversial than others, like this one. What is the best breakfast food?
Yeah, right now it looks like pancakes, waffles, eggs, and bacon are tied right now, 40%.
Yeah, I definitely voted pancakes and waffles. That's my
eggs and bacon,
thing.
For myself, I'd probably choose that.
Any other polls? What other questions do we have here? Our producer's putting them up on the screen. Would you take a trip to Mars if you were offered? Something that's probably more feasible than even Mars is maybe Blue Origin out in Van Horn would ask me to go, or whoever, but me, to go up in their rocket to go to the Kármán line. Okay. That's very feasible, I think. And yes, I would. But I don't know if I would go to Mars. Seems like a certain death trip, but
you'd have to have a reason to go, I feel like. You wouldn't just want to go just for, giggles. You have to have a reason to be like, oh, well, let's go to Mars.
Well, that's true. You want to have like a scientific reason, a commercial reason as well. Maybe that's where you get your footing. I know SpaceX, that's their main reason. I mean, that's their thing. Elon has made that very clear. That's what he wants to do.
They want to be a multi-planetary species.
That's what he said,
also another thing, too, is, being able to expand, our population to
our reach,
multiple planets. And, we're aiming to do that soon.
That's very interesting. But as far as Blue Origin, yes. Mars, no. That's at least for me. So let us know.
Mars, yes for me.
So you, yes. Would you go up in Blue Origin rocket as well?
Oh, yeah.
So you're yes across the board. So someone call Ethan for that. That'd be fantastic.
Yeah, take me to space, please.
Seats are only $300K, I think, a piece.
That's not bad.
yeah. What is this? What's out? Exactly. Vote as well on this poll by going to firstalert7.com/vote. There's a URL on the bottom left side of your screen. There's also that QR code. You can take your phone, scan it right there if you're watching us on your television screen, and go to that poll right there. And there's several different questions you can answer as well. So again, take us with you wherever you go, work, grocery store, you name it. Watch your favorite First Alert 7 shows on our app. Download it now on your connected TV, phone, or tablet. We have the TV show, Wake Up West Texas, from 5 to 7, and then we're streaming here from 7 to 9 on Wake Up West Texas Extra. You won't want to miss it every weekday morning. Time now, 7:34. We're looking live outside over the skies of Midland. Look at that sunrise starting to get underway, as a lot of the traffic does, too, on Interstate 20.
Yeah, beautiful sunrise in the background. The temperature, 38 degrees, so cool morning out there.
Yeah.
Make sure that you bundle up. We'll continue to roll through our iCam this morning, now in Andrews. Also a clear sky there. The temperature there at 40 degrees this morning. We'll go over to Odessa, looking over Grandview. The traffic moving along pretty smoothly. Clear skies and a nice sunrise. The temperature there, 39 degrees. Heading over to Pecos this morning. Also a pretty nice sunrise there. Yellow in the sky. Looks pretty good there. Traffic moving along smoothly. The temperature there, 31 degrees, so just below freezing. Make sure you bundle up this morning. Over to Presidio, all the way down. Oh, look at that. That is a beautiful sunrise this morning. With
this is not AI.
Yes,
this is
not.
a real camera.
Someone take a screenshot of this, please. Like this is a beautiful.
Can we take
photo.
off everything on the screen of the bugs and all the CG channels? I want to get a screenshot of this. Okay.
And there
okay, thank you.
Beautiful start there with a beautiful sunrise. Temperatures at 45 degrees, so beautiful start there in Presidio.
Can we just leave it there?
Can't get much better than that.
This is the next hour and a half on Wake Up West Texas.
I wish I was
Extra.
there, just chilling.
Seeing it. Have you ever, when you're looking at the sky sometimes, I'm like, wow, it looks fake. When you see the clouds, it's a mostly cloudy day. You see a lot of these poofy clouds. I should know the names of the clouds. I don't actually. Not cumulus. I don't think they're cumulus.
Poofy. Are you talking about the
poofy
cumuliform? Yeah, the cumulus clouds.
Our director was
the ones that look like cotton balls, right?
Cotton balls, yes.
Those are cumulus clouds.
You know, as much as I like the weather and all, clouds are something I struggle with for some reason. I know cumulonimbus, I know those.
Even I struggle, but not with the basics, but because there's a whole cloud atlas. Like we have like this big 100-page booklet full of cloud types.
Did you get tested on that, I imagine?
Mm-hmm. Difficult. And then you have subtypes for subtypes, and it's ridiculous. There's so many clouds out there.
Have you heard of pyrocumulonimbus? I'm sure that was in there.
Yep.
I don't want to start getting into all that, but I just learned that one actually myself on social media. Let's turn now to some interesting video. I have goats I want to show you in North Texas. Yes, those are actual goats. The city of Dallas has an eco-friendly plan, Ethan, to get rid of some invasive weeds.
Okay.
Because they eat everything,
Yep.
And so according to the city, more than 250 goats will be grazing on privet at White Rock Lake for the next week. The city says each day an electric fence will be put up in a new section to ensure effective vegetation management so that when they walk up to it, they get shocked. A shepherd will then monitor the goats around the clock to ensure their safety.
I mean, it's a win-win. I mean, they get fed and they're getting rid of the, what do you call it? The weeds, the invasive species.
Yeah, we don't want the weeds there. So of course, it is a good way to do it. I mean, it's eco-friendly. I can't imagine the mess they have to clean up because when they eat, it does make a mess.
That is very, very
I have family
true.
who own goats. It's a lot of work, but it is fertilizer. You're right about that. So makes the grass come up. It actually makes it a very desolate wasteland. Whenever you put goats out and things, it ruins everything.
Oh, yeah.
So you can imagine it's going to do a great job at keeping that invasive plant down and away.
Yes, exactly.
Cool video though. Send a chopper out and everything. Well, when you look at homes, you usually notice the landscaping first. But for one neighborhood in Chicago, everyone is talking about these garages. So you can see the garage doors all have murals painted on them. And don't call it graffiti, by the way. The builder came up with the idea as the homes were being built. So the residents were able to choose their own unique design. The art draws visitors to the alleyway, with one resident calling it the most Instagrammable alley in the city. Ain't that the truth?
So a whole alley is dedicated to doing stuff like that. That's real cool.
I get tired of seeing the house, garage, house, garage, house, garage. This is a way to break it up a little bit.
Yeah, it shows personality, shows, the art style of the particular individual. I mean, it's really interesting.
There's I'm trying to remember. There was a few houses around here that stand out from others. They're painted a certain way or they look a certain way in different cities. But garages, I think, it's a canvas, essentially, a large canvas to be able to make your artistic thing, your artistic style known. But at the same time, I guess if you're the only one in the neighborhood, that might have to be a discussion with your HOA.
Very true. Yes.
Because this was at least an effort put on as those homes were being built. It was planned out, purposeful.
That's interesting. I mean, that's the way to do it if you're going to do it.
If you're going to do it right. That's right. Let's go back to space, Ethan. We love talking about that. NASA sharing some stellar time-lapse views of auroras.
Beautiful.
Isn't that crazy? From the International Space Station, by the way. You can see green aurora ribbons hugging Earth along with the thin orange glow of our atmosphere, tracing the planet's edge. Who wrote that? That's the most eloquent thing I've ever read. NASA says auroras are the result of charged particles from the sun colliding with gases in Earth's atmosphere, guided by Earth's magnetic field. Oxygen contributes green and red light to auroras. Nitrogen produces the blues and purples, which is also how they colorize a lot of what we see on those Hubble Space Telescope images, James Webb Space Telescope images. We know the colors the gases give off, so that's how they colorize them.
Yes, exactly. And have you ever seen an aurora borealis yourself?
Every time, the last few months, I believe, we had that event come through, the solar storm, very high-level solar storm, and I was asleep. No less.
Really?
Of course I would be.
See, there were some fantastic events the past 2 years up in Missouri. I'm not sure how far south. I mean, they got pretty far south. I just don't know what the visibility was like down here at that time, but fantastic views. I mean, you could see with the naked eye perfectly.
Wow.
And it wasn't just on the horizon. It was like almost directly above you. It was fantastic.
I want to say Tom said night one, T for Taylor, Tom said night one was naked eye, barely naked eye. Night two was phone.
Yes.
Because it allows more light in with the ISO. And so
yeah, a lot of the time you need to take what we call a long exposure photo.
Sure, okay.
It takes in more light.
And you're able to see it clearly.
Yes.
That's how we get these incredible images a lot of the time, the art pieces from it. But just fantastic. I saw this video and I was like, we have to talk about this. Isn't that amazing? Just the views they get from the ISS.
I mean, you're never going to see anything like this as a normal human. So.
And for a long time, not to get into it, but the ISS is going to be decommissioned soon.
Is that right?
In a few years, they're going to crash into the ocean.
And so they're going to are replacing it with something else?
No plans.
No plans.
No plans for now.
Okay.
I know Russia and
this.
China want to obviously have their own. So does America eventually, but there's no plans in the future. So it's going to be decommissioned.
There's always someone there, so it's interesting like how they're going to evolve. Like
I'm curious how that works. And again, I think privatization plays a big part in this.
That's true. Yeah,
like
you
we
were
talked
talking about that.
So we'll see what happens, but yes, the end of the space station is going to happen within roughly the next decade, they're saying. So
Okay.
very, very soon, unfortunately.
Good to know.
In Minnesota, residents may soon see sled Zeppelin clearing their streets the next time it snows. This is just one of the finalists for the Name a Snowplow contest. So they're naming snowplows. There's a contest for it. It's the 6th year the Minnesota Department of Transportation has held this contest. I wonder if Sawyer has ever taken part. She lived in Minnesota for a year. More than 6,700 names were submitted and then whittled down to just 30. Some of the other snowplow finalist names include Every Day I'm Shoveling, Here We Snow Again, and The Life of a Snow Girl. That's a Taylor Swift reference, I think, isn't it? Yeah.
Here we go, we shoveling. That's good.
People can cast their snowplow ballots February 13th, the day before Valentine's Day. From the group of 38 names will be chosen to adorn one plow in each of MDOT's districts. I love that.
That is fantastic. I mean, I never would have ever expected something like this to happen. But of course, up in Minnesota, it is a big snow area.
Necessary, yes.
And so, I mean, you know, snow plows are very abundant up there. So, I mean, of course, it's more likely you'll have this up there.
Midland International Air and Spaceport had a grant come in, and part of that grant was they had to get a snowplow. And it's Midland's first ever snowplow that Midland now has.
When was this?
A month ago, roughly a month or two. So it's recently, a recent addition.
Okay.
Probably came in handy, I imagine, during that last winter storm, if it was up and running, of course. But talking to TxDOT, I've called them several times during this last winter storm. And it's funny because we have brine trucks. We definitely have brine trucks, but it has limitations. We can't go out and scrape things. But it's just not so necessary for them to invest there are hundreds of thousands of dollars for snowplow trucks. And to maintain them, I mean, it's a whole situation. So, of course, it's tough to reason that taxpayer money here in West Texas because we don't see that often of a snowfall. And when we do, it's an inch or the ground's too warm and it melts.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, you don't get events like what we just had a couple weeks ago very often. I mean, the last time we had anything like that was back in Snowmageddon. And even then, it wasn't up to that standard.
No, it was a record snowfall total, but it wasn't what Minnesota sees.
So it's, I guess it's not worth it if you get those snow events every 3 or 4 years.
No, definitely not at all. Well, we've still got a lot more to come here on Wake Up West Texas Extra.
Thanks for streaming with us. We'll be back in just 2 minutes. Don't go anywhere.
This month is American Heart Month, and today we're focusing on heart disease, still the leading cause of death here in the United States. Joining us now to discuss this is Dr. Bocalandro with Medical Center Hospital. He's a cardiologist there. Dr. Bocalandro, thank you so much for joining us. Can you first start off with what is heart disease and why is it so deadly?
Yes. Well, Matthew, thank you first for giving me the opportunity today. I think this month in February, not only we have Valentine's, but it's a true month to work on your heart health as well. And, heart disease encompasses a large number of pathology, a large number of problems that include the most common cause of death, which is heart attacks or myocardial infarction, which is basically the position of cholesterol in the arteries that provide blood flow to the heart. Also in heart disease, we have also hypertension, which is a very, very common problem that affects millions of Americans. We also have rhythm problems that can occur, like atrial fibrillation. And then we have problem with the heart muscle, like heart failure. So it's a large scope of things that can go wrong with your heart as we get older. And our job is try to maintain the heart to prevent that to get worse as we get older.
How can we detect heart disease?
Yeah, so there are some physiologic parameters that I think we all need to be aware as we move in our continuum of life, right? As we go from younger to older. I think it's very important at least once a year to check your glucose level, make sure that you're not becoming either pre-diabetic or diabetic, because that really accelerates heart disease. We need also to be aware of our blood pressure levels. We want to keep that blood pressure on a normal level around 120/70 or so, or below that. We have to keep a close attention to our weight, because weight in general carries very poor company, including diabetes, hypertension, obstructive sleep apnea, and also a poor quality of life also, frankly, if you weigh too much. And those things are easy for us to keep track. We also need to monitor our cholesterol. That's another very important, parameter that we need to follow through our life, right? And we have to continue monitoring those parameters, like we'll watch our gas tank when we're driving or watch our speed when we're driving, right? We're monitoring those things, and then we need to monitor and work with our providers to keep those well controlled as we get older.
Dr. Bocalandro, what are the signs and symptoms we should look out for?
Yeah, so that's also important, right? Because heart disease is so prevalent and because heart disease is #1 cause of death, then we need to be aware of what things will get your attention that will, be important for you to seek help. And when we said about seeking help, it doesn't have to be necessarily a cardiologist specialist. You can talk to your primary care physician, with your provider, right? And make sure that you discuss these things. But common symptoms that people tend to have is chest pressure or chest pain. If you have chest discomfort, if you have, chest pressure, chest heaviness, all those symptoms are very important and very telling, and important to discuss with your primary care physician to assure they're not of cardiac origin. Sometimes we also feel shortness of breath or fatigue when we do the activity, exercise intolerance, right? You try to do your activity and you have breathlessness, could be also an important sign of heart failure or difficulty with your heart pumping forward. Also pay attention to your rhythm. Does the heart flutters in your chest? Does the heart go faster than it should be or slower than it should be? So all those things are symptoms and signs that we can be aware. And if we see any of those things, then I think it's very important to discuss with our primary care doctors. In the same line, if you have a chest pain that is severe, is a chest pain that is definitely getting your attention because have not been there in the past few minutes and is relentless, right? Doesn't go away. Then it's very important to understand that heart attacks is a very time-limited disease, right? We can really help you as fast as you get to the emergency room, the better your prognosis. So it's very important to be aware of that. I mean, if you have symptoms which appear acute, appear severe, appear all of a sudden, then I think it's very important to call 911 and come to the hospital to be checked as soon as possible.
Is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
I think February, because it's a heart month, is a great month for everybody to do a little bit of health inventory, right? Kind of see where you are with important parameters, right? See where you are with your weight. Do you need to get to a healthy weight? Do you need to get to a healthy blood pressure? Make sure you have your numbers of cholesterol, numbers of glucose. You know, if you're smoking, that has to be a priority. We need to stop smoking. Do an inventory of your diet. Is the diet healthy? The diet include vegetables, include, you know, whole grains, include lean meats, right? So I think it's a really good time of the year to sit down with a piece of paper and take a look at what you're eating, your level of activity. Can we increase your physical activity? And the year is just starting. So you can go throughout the year and work on all these factors to try to improve your heart health. Remember that heart disease by and large is preventable. Most of the things, if we follow a good diet, good exercise plan, we're not smoking, we keep your risk factors controlled, like blood pressure, cholesterol, glucose, then it's very likely you can prevent a heart attack or a stroke in your future. So it really, the health in your hands. And I think this is a great month to, you know, appraise these variables and see where each of us is, and can we do something better for our heart health.
Dr. Fernando Bocalandro, cardiologist at Medical Center Health System. Dr. Bocalandro, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Matthew. Have a great day.
We appreciate Dr. Bocalandro speaking with me about this. Such an important topic is avoiding heart disease, and if you do have it, where to find the right treatment, signs and symptoms to look out for. Genetics playing a big role in this, and so it's something for everyone to look out for and think about. We are in American Heart Month, like we talked about, and today we're talking about women's heart health as well. That's why I'm wearing red as well. We ask you to wear red. It's Wear Red Day, so do so. But you know, Dr. Bocalandro discussing some of those signs and symptoms to look out for: pain, shortness of breath, those kind of things. Easy to look over.
I was going to say, things you don't really think about on a normal basis, but, you know, it's not something to panic about, but make sure you're checking up on if you are experiencing those things.
See your doctor. That's the thing he talked about the most, is go check with your doctor on a lot of those things, because it can get out of hand really quickly. It can be more than heart disease. It could be something else. Stroke, all those other symptoms can fall on top of each other and mean very similar things. So, of course, you can reach out to Medical Center Health System. They have wonderful cardiologists as well, Dr. Bocalandro being one of those. We appreciate him coming on to discuss this today. And also throughout this entire month, we'll have continual segments about heart health, but also nutrition that plays a big part in that.
Oh, yes.
Diet, exercise, something we all should work on and strive towards any stage of your life, from young to old. It doesn't matter if you're in your 20s, like a lot us are, it can still affect us.
Yeah, something I try to prioritize in my life for sure.
Absolutely, and it pays off later on in life again as well. We appreciate you joining us here for Wake Up West Texas Extra. We've had a lot of headlines to get to as well, and polls. We like to talk about our polls. Let's bring some up on screens to talk about. Let's see what we have. Would you take a trip to Mars if you were offered? The 60-40 answer is yes. Let's explore.
Still kind of surprised, though, that there's more people saying yes than no.
Then no, I figured it'd be the other way around.
Personally, that's my answer, but still, like, more than the no, I'm surprised. People have the guts to do it.
Definitely. Go to firstalert7.com/vote to get in on this poll. But we have other polls as well, including what is your favorite type of precipitation? Wow, that's a loaded question too. Mine is any. Well, that's not true.
I would be very surprised if someone votes hail.
That's true.
I don't think you want that
No.
damage. However, I will say hail is my favorite precipitation.
After you just said, I'd be surprised if he said, you're
because I'm a nerd.
Yes,
because
you're a severe weather
nerd.
meteorologist.
I'm a storm chaser at heart.
Yes.
Even though I am a TV meteorologist here, but I'm a storm chaser at heart as well. I like to go and chase, hailstorms. They look amazing. They're just fascinating. So.
Who chose sleet? Okay, I was like, of all things, sleet. Not that I'm shaming you or anything, but rain is my absolute favorite. Snow is my second favorite because it's not as disruptive. Sleet, as we saw, can be.
Sleet is my least favorite.
Yeah, probably out of all these.
Only because it's an inconvenience, it can cause impacts, and it's a difficult thing to forecast.
I like to throw this in. Your thoughts on grapple?
Grapple? I mean, no particular thoughts.
No, like thoughts on grapple. I like saying it.
Grapple, yeah, there's little ice pellets.
Ice pellets.
They're similar to sleet, yes.
Yeah. But something not a lot of folks know about is grapple. Tom Kieferteller taught me that one. I like saying it as well. But hail, definitely not on my list because hail has cost me in the last year. I had my first ever hail claim last summer.
I'm lucky to have, or I'm fortunate so far to have not gotten any hail damage. Even while chasing storms.
I was going to ask you, have you ever not gone through a hail core or anything?
So yeah, when I'm chasing, I make sure to avoid the hail core.
Good, okay.
At all costs.
Smart thing to do.
I see the hail core on radar, I'm like, okay, let's drive around, let's wait for it to pass. You got to be smart and get in front of the storm.
It's not easy. People think storm chasing is just getting out there in your car and taking pictures.
Yeah, no, and you don't And people think as well, when you're storm facing, you're just driving straight into the storm. No.
It doesn't work like that.
You're staying around it, staying safe, just looking at it from a distance.
Absolutely. There you go. That's what it's all about. Well, thanks for your insight on that.
Yeah.
And vote on that poll. Again, firstalert7.com/vote. We're going to take a moment now to join our First Alert 7 viewers on television on CBS for a news and weather update. Wake Up West Texas Extra continues in just a few minutes, so stay with us right here.
From First Alert 7 News, this is a Wake Up West Texas news and weather update.
Time now is 7:56 on this finally Friday. I'm Matthew Alvarez here alongside meteorologist Ethan Yost. Ethan, good morning to you.
Good morning. Let's get a West Texas weather update to start your morning. Temperatures are cool, but we have a nice sunrise on the horizon. This is the Presidio iCam. They got some cloud cover there. They're actually hogging all of the clouds across the entire viewing area because this is the exception. Everyone else seeing clear skies, but temperatures on the cool side, but well above freezing. Generally upper 30s to low 40s. So grab that jacket on your way out, but don't need it by the afternoon because we'll be up to the low to mid 70s by 4 o'clock this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine all day long, and that wind flow out of the west-northwest direction at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Here are those forecast highs across the board. Low to mid 70s area wide, 75 for Fort Stockton, 74 for Midland. Sunny skies across the entire viewing area. Overnight tonight, a little bit more mild. Still cool, but well above freezing. Low to mid 40s across the Permian Basin under a clear sky. But the main story are these warm temperatures over the next 10 days. Again, highs today will be in the low to mid 70s, and it's not going to change anytime soon. We'll be sticking around with that time frame all the way through Thursday. So warm and mostly dry conditions. I say mostly because we have introduced some very slight rain chances in the forecast coming up on Monday and Tuesday. Those chances being about a 20 to 30% chance, and those best chances will be south of I-20. And if any precipitation does fall, it'll be light rain, so nothing impactful. And I think it's going to be just a mostly dry and warm pattern through the first week of February.
Ethan, thank you very much. Let's begin tracking crime in Midland, where the sheriff's office is looking for this man who apparently went into a Kentwick and stole 90 beers from that gas station. Crime troopers say this happened back on January 20th at the Kentwick off I-20 in Midland. They say the suspect stole 3 30-packs of Michelob Ultra. He drove off in the white Ford pickup that's on your screen right there. If you know who this is or have any information about this, reach out to Midland Crime Stoppers at 694-8477. It is Black History Month, a time to honor the history, culture, and contributions of Black Americans, including right here in the Permian Basin. Local organizations and community groups are focusing this month on education, reflection, and celebration. The goal is to highlight both historical figures and modern-day leaders making a big impact.
Local people can be heroes to our teachers that has taught for 50 years and our engineers in the oil field that worked for 50 years for different oil companies. Those are your heroes, and they're local heroes, and we like people to know that. That's why we run our billboard.
Of course, for February is dedicated to recognizing community leaders as well. We'll be back in half an hour. Keep it here on First Alert 7.
From First Alert 7 News, with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching Wake Up West Texas.
Extra, good morning to you. 8 o'clock on this finally Friday morning. So glad to have you with us streaming here on firstalert7.com, our YouTube channel, and on Facebook Live alongside meteorologist Ethan Yost. Good to have you here.
Good to be here. Good morning.
We want to talk about our Facebook comments because I haven't been doing a good job keeping up since Sawyer McElroy left comments last hour. Say good morning to Chris Kavanaugh, of course, our great viewer. He's here every single morning. We do appreciate it. He wanted to weigh in on the blizzard situation we talked about, your favorite blizzard from TQ, because they came over and brought our weather folks some blizzards yesterday.
Yeah.
It was National Weather Person's Day, and so them, along with Children's Miracle Network, dropped some of those off. We'll have a look at that a little bit later. He says his is Snickers blizzard, which is a good choice.
Okay, yeah, fair enough. Again, more on the chocolatey side, so I can't.
It is the chocolatey
can't
side.
say that I agree
As
on
much.
popular opinion, but
What do you consider? Here's a hot take. Do you consider Oreo chocolate?
I do. But it's so minimal, like just like little tiny chunks.
And it's not fully the chocolatey
It doesn't really
flavor.
taste like like true chocolate.
No,
though.
it doesn't.
But I do consider myself eating chocolate when I'm
When you
eating
do
those
have an
Oreos,
Oreo, which
yeah.
is probably the correct thing. Chris also wants to talk about his favorite type of precipitation. That was Linnell Craft, actually. She says hers was soft rain. Chris says top of the morning, though. Good morning to you.
Yes, a soft rain also a fantastic precip type. I mean, you can't go wrong.
Light rain.
But it gets a little annoying when you have that just very light drizzle, the annoying
The spit.
rain.
We call it spit.
Because it's it'll hit at that rate where your windshield wipers are too slow to
They're
get there.
dry.
And it's like comes down. It's just it's annoying to drive in.
Windshield wipers start scraping and making all kinds of
Yes,
noise, but you still got to clear it off. That's very true. So a reminder, by the way, take us with you wherever you go. You can download us on your TV. That's what we want you to do. Go to your app store on your Apple device, your Roku store, your Fire TV. Type in First Alert 7 or KOSA, either one, and download that app. That's where you can watch us live right here every single morning from 7 to 9 a.m. And all of our newscasts are on there too. You can also download us on your phone or tablet as well. Don't forget about it. It is all free in the Apple App Store, Google Play, and all of your connected TV app stores, if you will. Now, again, we want to go over to the polls again to see what we're looking at right now. We're seeing what is your favorite type of precip. Linnell Crafted says soft rain, so that'll go in the rain category, 50-50 between rain and sleet for some reason. Now,
Yeah,
I know
for some reason. I'm surprised no one has picked snow yet.
No, I am too.
At
Because
least you can play in snow, sleet. I mean, it's not like you can go making sleet men.
sleet. You know, I have seen, oddly enough, people make hail angels.
Hail angel.
Let me make
I
it
mean,
hail
yes, that's
angels.
True. You can make a sleet and snow and a hail angel. To be fair, I mean,
Because you know how it piles up sometimes?
yeah, I
see
mean,
those
if you get like a
photos?
lot of hail, like just dumped down,
Right.
like it'll cover the entire ground in the middle of summer, and it looks like it's just snowed out there. Like
Truly.
it's absolutely ridiculous.
And that's happened here in my career. I've seen it, and it also makes this big, like a fog bank almost above the ground.
Yes, it's
The
kind of
cooling.
similar to how snow can cool the atmosphere a little bit. It kind of does the same effect and causes fog.
Which we definitely saw.
Yes.
A
We
few
saw
weeks
freezing
ago.
fog.
Freezing fog, unfortunately.
Yes.
The worst type of fog, if there is any. Marilyn Smith likes dew in the morning. Oh,
Oh yeah. I
That's
like a
a
little
good
bit
answer.
of dew in the morning.
yeah.
I'm not a huge fan of the dryness. Like, I come from an area like Missouri, Midwest.
There's water and
It's
trees.
a lot more moist, just like the atmosphere in general.
Sure.
Here we're a little more dry, and it's kind of affecting my sinuses. You know what I mean? Like
Yes.
the dryness in the air. So I agree. I like the dew in the morning.
Definitely so. Let's take a live look outside this morning over the skies of Midland out there where that sun is just beaming down for what's to be a very
Blinding.
sunny day.
Yeah, it's blinding out there, and the temperature there 37. So
Ooh, a little chilly still. Got to
Little
bundle up
chilly.
as you step out the door. It's going to start warming up slowly but surely.
yeah, that's right. We'll keep continuing through the iCams this morning. Big Spring.
Oh, very
Blue
nice.
skies, sunshine. Temperature this morning is at 34 degrees, so also make sure you grab that jacket on your way out. Let's head over to Odessa, where the temperature is 37 degrees. Skies are clear, and we're having traffic move along pretty smoothly there on Grand View. Over towards Fort Stockton, 44 degrees, so nice there. Still grab a jacket on your way out, but skies are clear. The only exception for clouds is all the way down towards Presidio. We have a little help from the orographic lift along those mountains, so they got a little bit of cloud cover there, but making for a beautiful sunrise. And temperatures at 45 degrees this morning.
Can you describe what that is?
Orographic lift?
Yes, I'm curious.
So yeah, it's like, if you imagine wind hitting a mountain, where's it going to go?
Up.
And so we need rising motion to create clouds. So what that does is as air hits the mountains, it goes up, rising motion, cools the air and it condenses in the clouds.
And here we have it, right on the other side of the mountains right there. We can see some of them in the distance. And I've always wondered that because Presidio, there's also some sort of temperature situation going on, I've noticed, between a lot of our mountainous regions, between Alpine, Marfa, and Presidio. It's such a difference sometimes we see that. I know that can be also a very nuanced thing to talk about.
Like a lot of it, like we have a bias here, especially like because usually the Pecos River Valley is usually a lot the warmest, the hot spot in the area.
It's like a bowl of heat.
Because it's, lower elevation, has higher pressure. That's, the science behind it. And then it's cooler usually in the mountain areas because they're higher elevation. So, we have a whole wide range of things to deal with here.
It is fascinating. And some folks will say our weather is boring, but it's actually quite fascinating.
Yeah, if you really pay attention, it is fascinating.
Topography playing a large part of that.
And that's something I had to really get used to coming down here because very topographically interesting here. Like there's a lot of complex terrain down in the Big Bend.
Yes, here we're flat, at least in
Yes,
Midland,
here
Odessa. But we
at
have the
least,
Cap Rock, and so you're right. There's other different kind of features to talk about as well. But temperatures, like you said, a little chilly to start off this morning.
Yeah, not bad.
Not bad too ever.
Temperatures, again, they're in the 30s and 40s across most locations this morning. So again, make sure that you bundle up to start the morning. But the good news is that temperatures do warm up pretty quickly this afternoon. Again, we've been talking about these very warm conditions that are expected to continue all week, and really through the weekend and into this week. So let's get a look ahead at your next 12 hours. The hourly planner here, plenty of golden rays and sunshine all afternoon. Temperatures warming into the low to mid 70s by 4 o'clock this afternoon. It's going to be about 15 degrees above our average for this time of the year. That wind flow out of the west-northwest direction, about 5 to 10 miles per hour, and everyone getting their fair share of 70s this afternoon. 74 for Midland, 73 for Odessa, 75. Look at that, the Pecos River Valley being that hot spot like we were talking about, and the mountain areas being slightly cooler. So kind of what we were just talking about with that temperature difference across the region. And sunny skies area wide. Overnight tonight, pretty mild on the forecast, well above freezing, actually dropping down into the 40s overnight tonight, so not half bad. Make sure you grab a jacket first thing in the morning though, but you're not going to need it by the afternoon because look at these numbers over the next 10 days. Low to mid 70s starting tomorrow, and that's going to, starting today really, and that's going to continue all the way through Thursday of next week. So if you are a fan of warm weather, make sure you take advantage of that, even going into this weekend, Thursday or Saturday and Sunday for Super Bowls. Looking good for any outdoor plans, maybe outdoor grilling. So get out and about and enjoy the weather.
Definitely will do, Ethan. Thank you very much. Now for a look at your morning extra headlines that you need to know to start your Friday. We'll begin tracking crime where a woman was arrested and charged for the murder of a man who died of an overdose in Odessa. Back on January 9th around 7 p.m., Odessa police were called to Kingston Avenue near East 52nd Street. That's when they got there. They found a 22-year-old man dead at the scene. After searching the man's phone, investigators found that 40-year-old Nicole Marie Jones had sold fentanyl to the man. Jones had previously been arrested for selling fentanyl and was out on bond. Officials say the cause of death of the man was a fentanyl overdose. Jones has been arrested and charged with murder, a first-degree felony. In Midland, the sheriff's office looking for this man who went on quite the beer run. In fact, he stole 90 beers from a gas station. Now, this happened back on January 20th at the Kennewick off of East Interstate 20 in Midland. They say the suspect stole 3 30-packs of Michelob Ultra. He drove off in a white Ford pickup seen right here. That is pictured on your screen. If you know who he is, or maybe you have a neighbor who has unusual amount of beer, well, there you go. Call Crime Stoppers at 694-8477. Odessa police, meanwhile, have arrested this man for burglary of a home, a teenager, and he was also charged with engaging in organized criminal activity. Officials say 18-year-old Jarvis Darnell Preston Jr. was involved in this home invasion last month. OPD thanks the public for their help with this investigation. In education, an interesting story we're following right now this morning. Midland IC said they're aware of a social media post related to Legacy High that has raised some concerns. The district did not clarify what the post said or what it was related to, but Midland ISD police were continuing to look into this matter and will be on campus in full force to support student safety and staff safety. If you have any information about this, reach out to Midland ISD at 240-1050. We're not sure if this is related to the protest possibly scheduled later on today. We saw a milestone moment yesterday, meanwhile, as Ector County ISD looks to welcome the new Vasquez Middle School in West Odessa. Board members and family members all gathered there at the namesake of the site, putting finishing touches of the final beam. The signing not only marked a significant step forward for the school's opening, but also the moment deeply personal for City Councilman of Odessa, Gilbert Vasquez, one of the namesakes of the school, as he honored his family and his late wife.
The first thing I wrote on there was in loving memory of Adela Larea Vasquez. She couldn't be here to sign off, so I signed off for her. That was the first thing I did. And then, knowing that names were being asked for, so I went and made sure that I wrote down every one of my brothers and sisters' name to follow in the order in which our mother and daddy brought us into the world.
Following the ceremony, attendees went inside to see the final beam put in place and locked in. After taking it all in, ECIC Superintendent Dr. Keely Boyer couldn't help but look forward to the day the school opens.
So we are just truly excited that we are making progress. In 6 months from now, we will have over 1,000 students in West XTRA County and West Odessa here walking these halls. And so today we're just celebrating that and celebrating one more step forward to opening this amazing middle school for our kids.
And when Adela and Gilbert Vasquez Middle School opens its doors fall of this year, the foundation is set to provide a much-needed educational space for the growing West Odessa community. This campus, by the way, marking the very first secondary campus in West Odessa. It is Black History Month, a time to honor history, culture, and contributions of Black Americans throughout history, including right here in the Permian Basin. Local organizations across the community are gathering, and their groups are focusing on this month on education, reflection, and celebration. The goal is to highlight both historical figures and modern-day leaders making an impact.
Local people can be heroes to our teachers that has taught for 50 years and our engineers in the oil field that worked for 50 years for different oil companies. Those are your heroes, and they're local heroes, and we like people to know that. That's why we run our billboard.
While February is dedicated to recognition, community leaders say conversations should continue all year long. And that was your Morning Extra for this Friday. You can find all the latest news, weather, and sports by logging on to firstalert7.com, our mobile news app, or by following the First Alert 7 Facebook page. I want to show you now on this 8:13 Friday morning, looking outside over the skies of beautiful Presidio out there. What a gorgeous sunrise underway there over the mountains and under the clouds. Meteorologist Ethan Hills would rejoin us with a look at your forecast coming up next. But a reminder, don't forget to take us with you wherever you go. Watch your favorite shows on the First Alert 7 mobile news app on your phone, tablet, or connected TV. We'll have a great discussion on heart health as well coming up right after the break, along with your forecast. Stay with us. This month is American Heart Month, and today we're focusing on heart disease, still the leading cause of death here in the United States. Joining us now to discuss this is Dr. Bocalandro with Medical Center Hospital. He's a cardiologist there. Dr. Bocalandro, thank you so much for joining us. Can you first start off with what is heart disease and why is it so deadly?
Yes. Well, Matthew, thank you first for giving me the opportunity today. I think this month in February, not only we have Valentine's, but it's a true month to work on your heart health as well. And, heart disease encompasses a large number of pathology, a large number of problems that include the most common cause of death, which is heart attacks or myocardial infarction, which is basically the position of cholesterol in the arteries that provide blood flow to the heart. Also in heart disease, we have also hypertension, which is a very, very common problem that affects millions of Americans. We also have rhythm problems that can occur, like atrial fibrillation. And then we have problem with the heart muscle, like heart failure. So it's a large scope of things that can go wrong with your heart as we get older. And our job is try to maintain the heart to prevent that to get worse as we get older.
How can we detect heart disease?
Yeah, so, there are some physiologic parameters that I think we all need to be aware as we move in our continuum of life, right? As we go from younger to older. I think it's very important at least once a year to check your glucose level, make sure that you're not becoming either pre-diabetic or diabetic, because that really accelerates heart disease. We need also to be aware of our blood pressure levels. We want to keep that blood pressure on a normal level around 120/70 or so, or below that. We have to keep a close attention to our weight, because weight in general carry very poor company, including diabetes, hypertension, obstructive sleep apnea, and also a poor quality of life also, frankly, if you weigh too much. And those things are easy for us to keep track. We also need to monitor our cholesterol. That's another very important, parameter that we need to follow through our life, right? And we have to continue monitoring those parameters, like we'll watch our gas tank when we're driving or watch your speed when we're driving, right? We're monitoring those things, and then we need to monitor and work with our providers to keep those well controlled as we get older.
Dr. Bocalandro, what are the signs and symptoms we should look out for?
Yeah, so that's also important, right? Because heart disease is so prevalent and because heart disease is #1 cause of death, then we need to be aware of what things will get your attention that will, be important for you to seek help. And when we said about seeking help, it doesn't have to be necessarily a cardiologist specialist. You can talk to your primary care physician with your provider, right? And make sure that you discuss these things. But common symptoms that people tend to have is chest pressure or chest pain. If you have chest discomfort, if you have, chest pressure, chest heaviness, all those symptoms are very important and very telling and important to discuss with your primary care physician to assure they're not of cardiac origin. Sometimes we also feel shortness of breath or fatigue when we do the activity, exercise intolerance, right? You try to do your activity and you have breathlessness, could be also an important sign of heart failure or difficulty with your heart pumping forward. Also pay attention to your rhythm. Does the heart flutters in your chest? Does the heart go faster than it should be or slower than it should be? So all those things are symptoms and signs that we can be aware. And if we see any of those things, then I think it's very important to discuss with our primary care doctors. In the same line, if you have a chest pain that is severe, is a chest pain that is definitely getting your attention because have not been there in the past few minutes and is relentless, right? Doesn't go away. Then it's very important to understand that heart attacks is a very time-limited disease, right? We can really help you as fast as you get to the emergency room, the better your prognosis. So it's very important to be aware of that. I mean, if you have symptoms which appear acute, appear severe, appear all of a sudden, then I think it's very important to call 911 and come to the hospital to be checked as soon as possible.
Is there anything else you'd like to discuss?
I think February, because it's a hard month, is a great month for everybody to do a little bit of health inventory, right? Kind of see where you are with important parameters, right? See where you are with your weight. Do you need to get to a healthy weight? Do you need to get to a healthy blood pressure? Make sure you have your numbers of cholesterol, numbers of glucose. If you're smoking, that has to be a priority. We need to stop smoking. Do an inventory of your diet. Is the diet healthy? The diet include vegetables, include, whole grains, include lean meats, right? So I think it's a really good time of the year to sit down with a piece of paper and take a look at what you're eating, your level of activity. Can we increase your physical activity? And the year is just starting. So you can go throughout the year and work on all these factors to try to improve your heart health. Remember that heart disease by and large is preventable. Most of the things, if we follow a good diet, good exercise plan, we're not smoking, we keep your risk factors controlled, like blood pressure, cholesterol, glucose, then it's very likely you can prevent a heart attack or a stroke in your future. So it really, the health in your hands. And I think this is a great month to, appraise these variables and see where each of us is, and can we do something better for our heart health.
Dr. Fernando Bocalandro, cardiologist at Medical Center Health System. Dr. Bocalandro, thank you very much.
You're welcome, Matthew. Have a great day.
You too, Dr. Bocalandro. I appreciate him talking with me earlier this week on this and talking about something that's very important. The number one killer in general in the United States is heart disease.
Is that what he said?
Number one. Isn't that crazy? Over
Yeah.
everything else. And so it's still the number one killer of people in the United States. So we want to try and avoid that, especially during Heart Month. We're bringing awareness to it as well.
Yes.
So important tips he gave to us for sure.
Great time to bring up that.
Absolutely. Yesterday, by the way, was National Weather Person's Day. So for you, Ethan, as well as our rest of our First Alert team, Medical Center Hospital and Children's Miracle Network brought by some sweet treats, Dairy Queen blizzards, to raise awareness for their Children's Miracle Network pediatric program.
In our area, we serve the Permian Basin. That's over 20,000 pediatric patients that come through Medical Center Hospital, whether that's our pediatric unit or our NICU or even our ER and trauma services. And those resources that we fundraise are to come to support them, whether that's advancing healthcare, equipment, nursing education, or even just giving out donations through books and coloring books and just making their environment more welcoming and very family friendly.
As you know, Medical Center Hospital is a Children's Miracle Network hospital, and they partner with Dairy Queen to help provide pediatric health care to our community. CMN says that anytime you see the iconic red and yellow miracle balloon and choose to donate, you are supporting a local hospital, including MCH here in our own community. Dairy Queen will host a Dip It for Kids event on March 19th, where kids get a free cone. And for every dip sold, $1 is donated to the CMN network, which includes Medical Center Hospital. Really, really cool program to see them. Now we're going to take a quick news and weather update moment on First Alert 7 to update our viewers on television. So don't go anywhere. Wake Up West Texas Extra continues in just a few minutes. Stay with us.
From First Alert 7 News, this is a Wake Up West Texas news and weather update.
Time now is 8:25. I'm Matthew Alvarez here alongside meteorologist Ethan Yost with a check of the forecast. Ethan, how's it looking outside on this Friday?
Yeah, it's looking like a nice start to the day on the mild side. Temperatures are above freezing, actually, so that's good. Still grab a jacket because we're right around the upper 30s, 37 currently in Midland and Odessa. But look at this live eye cam over Presidio. Nice sunrise in the background. A couple low-level clouds over there, but they're hogging all the clouds because we're actually looking at clear skies everywhere else. But again, those temperatures across the board, generally in the upper 30s to the low 40s. Sub-freezing there across the mountain areas, so a little bit chilly down there. But over the next 12 hours, things do make a big change. Back to the mid-70s by 4 o'clock this afternoon. Plenty of sunshine all day long, so make sure you get outside and enjoy that. Wind flow out of the northwest direction at 5 to 10 miles per hour. Across the board, same story, low to mid 70s across the entire viewing area. Only exception going to be down towards the Rio Grande, where some areas could touch 80, especially down in the Texas Big Bend. And that's also going to set the stage for a rather mild overnight. We'll be only dropping down into the 40s, so well above freezing across many locations to start your Saturday. But again, going into Saturday afternoon, even warmer. We'll be about 3 degrees warmer than this afternoon with a high of 76 on Saturday, 75 Sunday afternoon for Super Bowl. More clouds, but dry, so perfect conditions to do any outdoor grilling. Continue to see 70s in the forecast all the way through Thursday of next week with mostly dry conditions. And I say mostly because we have some very slight rain chances coming up Monday and Tuesday, but mainly south of Interstate 20 and also generally light showers across the board.
Ethan, thank you very much. We're tracking crime now where a woman was arrested and charged for a murder in Odessa. Back on January 9th around 7 p.m., Odessa police were called to Kingston Avenue near East 52nd Street. When they got there, they found a 22-year-old man dead at the scene. After searching his phone, investigators learned that 40-year-old Nicole Marie Jones, this woman, had sold fentanyl to the man prior to his death. Jones had previously been arrested for selling fentanyl and was out on bond. Officials say the cause of death of the man was a fentanyl overdose. Jones has been arrested and charged with murder, a first-degree felony. In education, we saw a milestone moment in West Odessa as XTRA County ISD looks to welcome the new Vasquez Middle School there. Board trustees and family members of the school's namesake all gathered at the site to put some finishing touches on the final beam. The signing not only marked a significant step towards the school's future, but also the moment was deeply personal for Odessa City Councilman Gilbert Vasquez, one of the namesakes for the school, as he honored his family and his late wife.
The first thing I wrote on there was in loving memory of Adela Larea Vasquez. She couldn't be here to sign off, so I signed off for her. That was the first thing I did. And then, knowing that names were being asked for, so I went and made sure that I wrote down every one of my brothers and sisters' name to follow in the order in which our mother and daddy brought us into the world.
Following the ceremony, attendees went inside to see the final beam put in place and locked in. After taking it all in, ECIC Superintendent Dr. Keely Boyer couldn't help but look forward to the day the doors open for students.
So we are just truly excited that we are making progress. In 6 months from now, we will have over 1,000 students in West XTRA County and West Odessa here walking these halls. And so today we're just celebrating that and celebrating one more step forward to opening this amazing middle school for our kids.
And when Adela and Gilbert Vasquez Middle School opens its doors fall of this year, the foundation is set to provide a much-needed educational space for the growing West Odessa community. And I should mention, by the way, it is the first secondary campus in West Odessa. We'll be back in another half an hour. Keep it right here on First Alert 7.
From First Alert 7 News, with studios in Midland and Odessa, you're watching Wake Up West Texas.
Extra, good morning to you, and thank you so much for joining us here, 8:31 on this finally Friday. And we're joined now by Jacob Brandenburg, whose collar is now sticking up.
Oh, not again. Oh, well, thanks for warning me.
At least I told you, yes, before we went on with the segment too far. So glad to have you here on Extra.
I wanted to come hang out for a little bit because, we just did our last Wake Up West Texas together.
Yes.
Maybe ever, as I moved from being a morning anchor with you to now being an assistant news director here at Channel 7. So the good news is I'm not leaving Odessa, not leaving the station.
That is good news.
We'll still be here. But yeah, I got to take on some more responsibility in our newsroom, kind of overseeing our reporters and what they're doing each day and our producers and how our shows look throughout the day, kind of a 9 to 5 type schedule.
Which is different.
Which will be different, and I won't be waking up at 3 a.m. to come in here and be with you.
Which is sad for me, for sure, because we usually have a very good time getting ready. The men putting on their makeup and all that. That goes into things behind the scenes. We have to look presentable, don't we?
Of course.
And today we're wearing red, by the way. We didn't mention this earlier, but it's Wear Red for Women's Day, Women's Heart Health.
Correct. So yes, we're supposed to wear red for women's heart health. I mean, heart health for everyone, but women specifically, because it's the leading killer of women is some sort of heart disease, heart attack, something like that.
Yes, you're right about that. And we talked to a cardiologist a little bit earlier in the show about the ways you can look out for it, the signs and symptoms and all that. And we'll have that posted a little bit later on today. But in the meantime, back to the reason you're here. We're also talking Super Bowl 60. Because Ethan and I and a few of other us, we're not the most sports adept people.
That's true. We don't have a lot of sports people on our news staff.
No.
We've got Jensen and White, but they'll come in later.
So you're here, luckily former sports director.
As a former sports director and still very big fan of all things sports. Happy to come and talk to you about the Super Bowl.
So I'm curious. So I want to bring up then, let me go ahead and pull it up here on your screen. We have a couple of polls that we want your take on anyway, so let's do that. Let's see what we have for our first poll. What is your favorite type of precipitation? So it's 50-50 right now. It's been a battle between, oddly enough, sleet.
Sleet. What an interesting choice.
Well, hail's also an interesting choice, we found out.
Right. I don't think hail is anyone's favorite choice.
No.
Rain would probably be mine just because, compared to these other winter ones. You can have rain on a warm day, like a summer thunderstorm or something like that.
Sure.
That's a nice kind of rain.
Pitter-patter of rainfall. Here's the big question.
Okay, who is going to win the Super Bowl this year? At least who do I think will win? I voted in this poll. I voted for the Seattle Seahawks as well.
And the reason you're here, I want to know why, because I simply don't know why. I know the Pats have a storied history.
They do.
In the Super Bowl with Bill Belichick, Tom Brady.
Correct.
The duo that was, but no longer.
Won 6 Super Bowls together, the Patriots did, in that Tom Brady, Bill Belichick era. So this could be their 7th. That would be the most Super Bowls any franchise has ever won. If they get to 7, that would break their tie that they have with the Steelers. And it's all been since 2001, by the way, as well, for the Patriots run.
That's incredible.
So it's 7 in the last 25-odd years.
For those who don't know, when is the last time the Patriots were in a Super Bowl?
It would have been the 2017-2018 season.
Okay, so
when they beat the Falcons, or excuse me, that's not correct. They won another one after that.
After that,
it's hard to keep track,
They're two winning
because this game is actually a rematch of a Super Bowl from 11 years ago. So these teams played before 11 years ago, back in 2014, 2015. Seahawks had the ball down at the goal line in the last minute to win the game. They chose to throw. It got intercepted by the Patriots, and the Patriots won that game. There's a bit of a revenge factor here for the Seahawks, trying to kind of get back. That should have been back-to-back Super Bowl wins for them, but they kind of threw it away at the end of that one. So then after that, that was Tom Brady's 4th Super Bowl, and then they did win 2 more after that, beating the Falcons in the 2017 season, and then they beat the Rams. I guess that would have been the 2019 season as well.
So quite a long history they have for sure.
So right, but after that, Tom Brady retired a few years after that, and Bill Belichick stayed as the coach of the Patriots, and they kind of fell into a rut. Tom Brady, obviously a huge part of what made them successful, and that's now why they kind of rebuilt this year. Just last year, the Patriots only won 3 games.
Wow.
So there was no one predicting really either of these teams to be in this game this year. Certainly not the Patriots. They have a brand new coach this year. His name's Mike Vrabel. He played for the Patriots, so he was on 3 of those Super Bowl teams with Bill Belichick and Tom Brady, those first 3 that they won in the early 2000s. He came back this year and has really kind of turned their team around.
That's fascinating. And so the Seattle Seahawks, what is their setup? What is their lead in going to the Super Bowl? First off, what's their Super Bowl past?
So the Seattle Seahawks have played in, this will be their 4th Super Bowl now. They've lost to the Steelers back in 05-06. They won the Super Bowl in 2013.
I remember that one.
They blew out Peyton Manning's Broncos team. It was #1 offense in the league versus #1 defense, and the Seahawks' #1 defense was far superior. They ran away with that one. And then, like I mentioned, the next year they played in the Super Bowl again, but lost that game to the Patriots.
So they had gone to the Super Bowl twice in a row.
Yes.
Something you and I had talked about is the teams, those who are leading the NFL in the past half decade or so, the Kansas City Chiefs, the Patriots, not really the Patriots, really, no, Kansas City Chiefs and the other team. What am I thinking of?
Well, I think you are thinking of the Patriots.
Is it the
Is
Patriots?
the stat I told you the other day?
Yes, that one where, yes.
So
It was either them two.
Because there's the two conferences in the NFL. There's the NFC and the AFC. Cowboys play in the NFC. Texans are in the AFC, if that's kind of a good point of reference. But the AFC has been dominated now since really for most of this century.
Right.
But specifically looking back to, kind of 2016?
16 was his first season, I believe.
Is that it's been the first, there's only been two teams that have been in the Super Bowl basically every year, going back to about 2016.
Wow. 10 years.
It's either been the Patriots, because they were on their run with Tom Brady, and then Patrick Mahomes came in the league, and since then the Chiefs have made the Super Bowl each year, except the one year that Joe Burrow and the Bengals upset the Chiefs, and the Bengals played in the Super Bowl and lost to the Rams.
And I think back to that Super Bowl, Tom Brady with the Bucks, Patrick Mahomes.
Well,
with
right,
the
and
Chiefs,
you have another
the
Brady
GOATs.
appearance in there as well. Yes.
Yes, so that's true. Tom Brady
Once he
continued
switched
on.
conferences and then won himself another Super Bowl. So Tom Brady actually has more Super Bowl wins than any team throughout history.
Wow, incredible. And it's still interesting when I've seen it on several analysis shows, sports analysis shows, when they put up the teams with the most winningest teams on Super Bowls. The Dallas Cowboys are still ranked high. 8, I believe, is their number.
They're still there. The Cowboys have won 5 Super Bowls that they've won.
Okay.
They've played in more than that.
Wow.
But they've won
okay.
5. But you're right. They're also on a very long drought since 1995.
Before I was born.
The 95 season's the last time the Cowboys won a Super Bowl. So I guess it would have been January or February of 96. But yeah, on the longest drought. And as far as conference, because they haven't even made it to the conference championship games. The Cowboys haven't made the Final Four since then either.
Wow.
So there wasn't even like a deep playoff run. We're like, okay, if we win this one, we get in the Super Bowl. It's that, along with like the Cleveland Browns, we're talking about as far as not making a conference championship game.
This is why we call you for these things, because there's so much analysis. You're so interested in these things.
I
it's
love
fascinating.
Sports a lot. And that's one of the great things I think about the Super Bowl. Sports in general is the stories kind of behind the games.
Sure, of course.
You talk about stats and scores and things, but it's the story leading up to it. It's that the Patriots have a coach who played for the Patriots, and his first year now back on the team he played for, coaching them, gets them to the Super Bowl. They have a second-year quarterback, Drake May, who maybe could be the next Tom Brady.
The next GOAT.
I mean, again, because they were so bad, they got to pick number 3 in the draft, got a very high draft pick, took Drake May, and now in his second year has taken them to the Super Bowl.
Wow.
On the flip side, the Seahawks, you're kind of wondering what their deal is. I mean, they let go of their longtime coach, Pete Carroll, who'd taken them to those back-to-back Super Bowls. He retired and came back into the league, but that's a whole other thing. So they've got Mike McDonald as their coach, a defensive kind of guru sort of guy, and they have one of the best defenses in the NFL. And then their quarterback, Sam Darnold, was a very high draft pick, kind of like Drake May was, number 3 overall pick in the draft, went to the New York Jets, struggled a lot, ended up on the Panthers, struggled a lot, had to be a backup for a few seasons. Then last year with the Vikings, came and led them to 13 wins, got them in the playoffs, played really poorly in their last 2 most important games of the season. The one to win the division and then their playoff game, Sam Darnold really struggled. They said, the Vikings said, we're good. We're going to move on from Sam Darnold. We don't believe in him. Seahawks picked him up, but people were like, the Seahawks are going to be not very good this year. But Sam Darnold's been fantastic at taking the Seahawks to the Super Bowl now.
And here we are. What comparisons can you draw between Drake May being so successful first 2 seasons to Patrick Mahomes immediately out of his Texas Tech run?
It's interesting. It is. And I think, now we're going to get into a little bit of the weeds, but people, I think, like these quarterbacks that have more experience. Some of these guys may be a 1-year starter as a junior, maybe they start for the first time, play 14 games, and then get drafted. They tend not to do as well in the NFL. It's these guys that have played at least 2 years where you've been a starter in college, you get that experience, and it helps you in the NFL, it seems. Like guys like Brock Purdy, you've heard of Brock Purdy with the 49ers,
yes.
was a 6th-round pick. Tom Brady was a 6th-round pick as well. But these are guys who started all 4 years at school and maybe not, they were like, oh, maybe they've kind of reached their potential already, or they didn't really improve much from their freshman to their senior year. But then they get in the NFL and all those extra reps, and they've seen everything at that point. You've seen what different defenses look like and what different coverages look like, and it seems to help people. So I think that's probably part of that Drake May Mahomes thing. But yeah, that'd be interesting to see because everybody's always looking for the next GOAT. We obviously found one with Patrick Mahomes, kind of to be that heir to Tom Brady. But Drake May could certainly start his own legacy if he wins a Super Bowl here in just his second year.
And Patrick Mahomes now, he's over 30 years old at this point.
He is. Patrick Mahomes and I are the same age. We were both high school class of 2014.
So he's been in the NFL for a decade now.
So he would have just turned 30. And
so, of course, this leaves questions. Is he past his prime at this point? With the last few seasons, people are wondering, they're looking for the next GOAT. Drake May being one of those possibilities.
Well, what hurts is that Mahomes just had a season-ending injury, just tore his ACL there toward the end of the Chiefs season. They were already struggling. And then you have Mahomes suffer a season-ending injury like that. So how does he recover with that? That's kind of like an 8 month, 7 month, 8 month type of recovery.
Yeah.
It takes a long time for an ACL, quicker than it used to. That used to be, you'd be out for a year, 2 years, maybe your career was over.
But it is season-ending.
But his season was ended. The Chiefs, kind of came out to miss the playoffs for the first time in, a decade or so.
Yeah.
But now how long does he recover? How long do they want to rush him back so he's ready for the start of next season?
Which has its own risks.
It has its own risks, right? I mean, that is your franchise quarterback. He does still have a lot of good years ahead of him. We keep mentioning Tom Brady, but that's because he set the standard of normally a quarterback, when you get to 30 or 35, you're considered old, you're considered kind of done, but then Brady played till he was 45.
So maybe that's been moved up. The ceiling has been pushed up by Tom Brady.
Or he's just that much of a,
in shape,
a freak, and took that stuff so seriously that we take for granted if a player does continue to do really well, under their 30s. Matthew Stafford from the Lions, or used to be with the Lions, now he's a Ram, just won NFL MVP last night. He's 37 or 38 years old.
Okay, so someone else to look out for who's getting up there in the way of the NFL. Of course, this is obviously these are all very young people, including Tom Brady, who's now moved into the broadcasting side of things.
And doing a great job.
Because he's that much of a sports nerd as well.
Well, right. It's classic Brady. His first year broadcasting last year, people were like, I don't really like the way he sounds. He's too robotic or whatever. Now people think he's doing a fantastic job.
I think it's a mindset change. When Tony Romo came on too, I mean, he was known as like a wizard at first.
Right at first,
he predicted plays, predicted this and that.
And now people don't like Romo. They think he doesn't do enough of that stuff anymore. So.
I guess. Well, I wonder if he got in trouble for that. Had to step back a little bit. I'm wondering, but fascinating take on the Super Bowl coming up this Sunday as well. We're excited for it. I'm excited for it because I like to see the commercials. I like the food.
I mean, that's the beauty of the Super Bowl. There's something for everybody.
That's true. So great analysis there. Also, your news sharing here at First Alert 7 as you move on from me and Wake Up West Texas.
I know. I'll miss you.
I'll miss you as well, of course. But luckily, we're still here. You're going to be here
Our shifts will
Morningside.
still overlap, yes. I can come pop in here on Extra any morning and
that would be great.
Give more insights, probably talk about sports, because
that's what we need you for most right here. Yes,
and that's true. Whether it's Sawyer, you, Ethan, just not locked into the sports world, but that's okay.
I learned today, Ethan and I have space covered.
Space, that's good. Okay. That's helpful.
Not the same with the Super Bowl, but Mars, we have you covered.
But when you have Mars stories, that works.
We're going to take a quick break here on Wake Up West Texas Extra. Coming up, we'll have a few more headlines from across the country and a check of your forecast. So don't go anywhere. Wake Up West Texas Extra continues in just a moment. Stay with us.
Now, from the First Alert 7 Weather Center, here's meteorologist Ethan Yost.
Well, it's a chilly start to your Friday morning, but some very warm temperatures are on the way for the afternoon. It's going to continue through your weekend and even a good portion of next week. So here, let's start with a live eye cam over Odessa. Plenty of sunshine out there and blue skies really across the entire viewing area, starting off the day at 37 degrees. Even some 40s across the Permian Basin already this morning. 26 down towards Fort Davis and the Marfa Plateau. So grab a jacket on your way out the door, but you can throw it away by this afternoon. By lunchtime, we'll be right around 70, on our way up to the mid-70s by mid-afternoon. Plenty of sunshine and that wind flow out of the west-northwest direction about 5 to 10 miles per hour. And across the board, much of the same, low to mid-70s, even some upper 70s possible across West Texas and southeast New Mexico. 74 in Midland, 73 in Odessa, 76 in Sanderson, even 75 in Fort Stockton. Clear skies, sunshine all day. Then let's jump ahead to tomorrow, Saturday's highs, even adding a couple degrees to our forecast. 76 in Midland, 77 in Sanderson. Wouldn't be surprised if Fort Stockton or areas like Presidio touch 80 tomorrow afternoon, so well above the average. And we'll also add a few clouds to the forecast going in tomorrow, but staying dry all the way through the weekend. High of 75 on your Sunday with mostly cloudy skies. Looking good for any outdoor grilling plans you might have going into Super Bowl Sunday. Monday and Tuesday still in the 70s, but we will introduce some very slight rain chances in the forecast, about a 20 to 30% chance. And then going into the rest of the week, drying out and maintaining highs in the 70s all the way through Thursday of next week.
All right, Ethan, that forecast not looking too bad whatsoever as we go through the rest of it. Rain chances good to see, but also I'm just happy to see 7s across the board and 4s on the bottom part, because that means it's going to be very mild for the first week of February.
My absolute favorite temperatures in the 70s. You cannot go wrong.
And I should say, I guess first and second week of February has been really nice. This whole month so far has been really nice. So really glad to see. We're only 6 days in after all. We'll have to see what the latter part of February brings. That could bring a surprise or two. We'll have to wait and see.
Yes, that's exactly right.
All right, let's take a look at news across the nation this morning, where the search for Today Show anchor Savannah Guthrie's mother continues.
And President Trump announces a new prescription drug listing site. CBS' Jesse Mitchell has today's top stories.
Investigators say they believe Today Show co-host Savannah Guthrie's mother, Nancy Guthrie, is still out there. The high-profile search in Arizona continues without a suspect identified in the case. The FBI also announced a $50,000 reward for information leading to Nancy Guthrie's recovery or the arrest and conviction of people involved in her disappearance. The Trump administration launched its new Trump RX prescription drug listing site. It's part of a push by President Trump to offer lower direct-to-consumer prices on medications. The president struck deals last year with more than a dozen pharmaceutical companies to offer some of their medication at steep discounts from retail prices. And Los Angeles authorities say several people were killed and others injured when a car crashed into a supermarket Thursday afternoon. An LA Fire Department official described the driver as an approximately 70-year-old woman and said she was cooperating with police. He said the crash is being investigated as a, quote, accidental traffic collision. Those are some of the day's top stories. Jesse Mitchell, CBS News, New York.
Other headlines now. A new study predicts an additional 9 million people could die by 2030 if international aid cuts continue. The fatalities include about 2.5 million kids who researchers say might otherwise survive. The study in the journal Lancet looks at the dismantling of the U.S. Agency for International Development, or AID. It also factors in aid reductions from the United Kingdom, Germany, Canada, and other countries. The study is from the Barcelona Institute for Global Health, relies on existing data to calculate projections.
The American Society of Plastic Surgeons is urging its members to delay gender transition surgeries for patients under 19 years old. They cited gaps in long-term research and potential risks. The guidance marks a shift from most major U.S. medical groups, which support treatments for adolescents with gender dysphoria. The treatments include puberty blockers, hormone therapy, and in rare cases, surgery. The society described a lack of quality research on surgical outcomes and emerging evidence of complications and possible harm. Experts say the change also reflects rising political backlash and legal concerns, pointing to a recent New York malpractice verdict involving a patient who later regretted surgery.
A majority of Americans want the U.S. Supreme Court to rule against President Donald Trump on his sweeping tariffs. That's according to a new Marquette Law School poll. More than 6 in 10 adults surveyed last month say the court should uphold a lower court decision limiting the president's authority to impose tariffs. 56% say tariffs hurt the economy, while just 30% believe they help. Still, more than half of those surveyed think the justices are reluctant to rule against Trump. The Supreme Court has a conservative majority, which has also often allowed Trump's policies to move forward while cases are litigated.
And Minute Maid is discounting its frozen juice concentrates after 80 years of spokesperson for its parent company Coca-Cola cites consumer preferences. The representative says shoppers are opting for ready-made juice instead of frozen cans.
I don't think I've had those cans since the 90s probably, but
I've never had them.
Sad to see they'll go. They're nice frozen, slushy almost.
Okay.
Google's parent company Alphabet said yesterday it plans to double its AI spending this year. It plans to spend up to $185 billion in 2026 alone as it builds its artificial intelligence data centers across the United States. It spends more than $90 billion in 2025 on such AI projects. The higher projected spending comes as Alphabet's annual revenue passed the $400 billion mark for the first time last year.
That is a lot of money for AI.
It is, and there's a few data
centers.
One of them I know is planned in XTRA County, not necessarily Alphabet's that I'm aware of, but data centers are popping up in areas where there's a lot of room. And of course, here in the area, there's plenty of space outside of the cities. And so I think what they're trying to do is the Permian Basin being the forefront of those AI data centers, which is a whole issue in itself that we have to talk about. But fascinating nonetheless of how much real estate it actually takes to run these services that we rely on every single day, and AI more and more each day as well.
I mean, AI is becoming a predominant feature of most things nowadays. Even in my field of work, we have AI weather models that are being developed.
I've noticed that, yes.
Yeah, so we're slowly evolving in that direction as well.
Are a lot of those models that are mixed together, is it pulling from different, do you know where those are pulling from? Is it like a conglomeration
the
of
ensembles?
The ensembles, yes. So is it an AI ensemble?
We have, there are some of those now. But
interesting.
The ordinary ones that we use are not, of course.
Okay.
But there are some new ones coming out now.
Fascinating.
We actually had a big suite of AI models just get released a couple weeks ago. So I mean, we're still pushing out more and more new types of data.
It's growing.
And at some point, I feel like it's going to be the new wave for modeling the weather. And modeling the atmosphere.
And maybe it could be helpful. Maybe it sees things that other folks don't. It recognizes patterns, but to be seen, and that's a big debate in and of itself.
There's a lot of time to go still.
I'm sure, yeah, especially before it starts helping with actual forecasts, life-saving forecasts.
Yeah, right now just mainly experimental.
There we go. Okay, well, just like a lot of artificial intelligence, that will be the case for sure. We want West Texas to weigh in on several different polls that we're following. Here's one of them on your screen. Jacob Brandenburg gave his take, and he went with the Seattle Seahawks as the winner of Super Bowl 60 this Sunday. We didn't ask for a score difference or anything, but because I think that'd be too difficult to kind of ascertain.
That's true.
The next question that we talked about earlier was, would you take a trip to Mars if you were offered one?
Yes, Let's Explore is still on top, it looks like. So, like we were saying earlier, I'm still surprised. Thought more people would say no.
Me too. 33. I'm on the 33 percentile of no, I'm staying on Earth. But at the same time, I do think of the Blue Origin rockets. I've actually attended a rocket launch this last year.
See, that's something I've never done, and I really would love to.
In our own backyard, Ethan. If you ever have some time, I mean, Blue Origin, they just did several launches. So if you ever have time, you are quite far.
Yes.
So it's a very tiny speck in the distance there. You're far away with their Blue Origin Launch Site 1 entrance off of a highway outside of Van Horn, very middle of nowhere. It's very desolate out there. We were there with Katy Perry and Gayle King and all of them. That's who they were launching into space. And at the time, the launch, of course, was in the early part of the morning, so you're able to get a good view of the way that looked, of course, as it went up into the atmosphere. It was really cool. The noise was just as loud as you can imagine it being. Obviously, it wasn't an Atlas V rocket or an Artemis rocket, but
it's still cool. I mean,
still awesome.
You have to experience it.
Absolutely. So highly recommend going out to a Blue Origin launch in our own backyard. We're going to take a moment to give a news and weather update to our viewers on First Alert 7. Stay with us right here on Wake Up West Texas Extra.
From First Alert 7 News, this is a Wake Up West Texas news and weather update.
Good morning. Time now is 8:55. I'm Matthew Alvarez here alongside meteorologist Ethan Yost on this Friday morning. Ethan, good morning. A bit of a chilly start to the day.
Yeah, it is a chilly start to the day, but rather actually a little bit milder than what we've seen the past couple of days. We're well above freezing as of 8:55 this morning, 37 degrees in Midland and Odessa. Here's a live eye cam over Odessa where we're seeing plenty of blue sky and sunshine temperatures. going to warm up quickly, but we will start off on the cool side, seeing some low 40s across the Permian Basin now. And as again, throughout the afternoon, though, plenty of sunshine and a west-northwest wind that's going to help push temperatures into the 70s by the mid-afternoon. We'll be touching that by lunchtime, well into the 70s by 4 or 5 o'clock this afternoon. We're going for a high of 74 for the Midland Odessa area into the afternoon. Across the entire board, though, much of the same, mid to upper 70s, low 70s across the entire region. Trans-Pecos being that hot spot like we were talking about, and those mountain areas being the cool spot across West Texas. This continues into your Saturday and Sunday. Highs even a couple degrees warmer. Looks like Fort Stockton will have a running at 80 degrees on Saturday afternoon. We'll add a couple clouds to the forecast, but staying dry Saturday, Sunday, before we introduce some slight rain chances on your Monday. Speaking of which, here's our 10-day forecast. Again, 70s and dry through the weekend. Looking good for any football plans you may have for the Super Bowl on Sunday. Mostly cloudy, but dry. Monday, Tuesday, introducing those slight rain chances, mainly south of I-20, and if anything falls, it'll just be some light rain. Dries out the rest of the week, and temperatures remain in the 70s all the way through Thursday.
Ethan, thank you very much. We are tracking crime this morning where a woman was arrested and charged with the murder of a man who overdosed on fentanyl in Odessa. Back on January 9th around 7 p.m., Odessa police were called to Kingston Avenue near East 52nd Street. When they got there, they found a 22-year-old man dead at the scene. After searching his phone, they learned that 40-year-old Nicole Marie Jones had sold fentanyl to him prior to his death. Jones had previously been arrested for the same crime, selling fentanyl, and was out on bond. Officials say the cause of death of the man was indeed a fentanyl overdose. So because of that, and due to state law, Jones was arrested and charged with his murder. Much lighter news in our community now. Odessa Links this Sunday holding its second annual Tackling Homelessness Big Game Watch Party. The event is back after the amazing response they received from the community last year. The event brings together football fans for a night of fun while also supporting a great cause. Food, drinks, football squares, and multiple big screen TVs will be available to those in attendance. Anyone, no matter if you're attending or not, can purchase raffle tickets online. Prizes include Dallas Cowboys season tickets, vacations, and gift cards. All funds raised will go to support Project Hope. The project provides housing and other support services to families experiencing homelessness with the goal of helping them achieve long-term self-sufficiency.
We basically do this to help somebody that had an unforeseen circumstance that caused them to lose their housing. When you're displaced and lose your home, whether it be to a fire or to the loss of a job, a medical issue, or anything like that, then it really distorts or creates a lot of instability, not just for the parent, but for the family as a whole.
Currently, Project Hope supports 58 individuals with 15 more on the waiting list. Fundraisers like this help them increase their capacity. They say giving these families a home gives them a fresh start, and they hope that they can continue to do this for years to come. For the latest news, log on to FirstAlert7.com, and don't forget later on to tune in to First Alert 7 News at noon with Jacob Brandenburg and meteorologist Ethan Yost. Until then, make it a great Friday and have a wonderful weekend. Well, that'll do it for Wake Up West Texas Extra on this finally Friday. Good to have you with us to wrap up the week.
It was good to be here. Have a great day, everybody.